Joining me now from Jerusalem is France 24's Noga Tarnopolsky. Noga, just tell us more about what exactly is the E1 project and why is it provoking such condemnation across the world?
Thank you, Annette. The E1 project is intended to provoke this sort of attention and condemnation, and it's absolutely succeeding. One of the reasons is almost technical. E1 is a designation of this Palestinian land that harks back to the Oslo Accords, to which the international community, including all the countries you just listed now, are guarantors. And so they have a stake in guaranteeing that Israel does not take over this Palestinian land designated for a future Palestinian state. And one of the reasons that Bezalel Smotrich, in particular, Prime Minister Netanyahu's finance minister, made this announcement is to provoke international pique and to try to use that for his own electoral prospects here inside Israel ahead of the elections, which I have to say has proven to be so far a pretty successful tactic for him. Since the escalation of violence in the West Bank, which is associated with him, and since the announcement of this tender and the previous approval of the future tender a few months ago, Finance Minister Smotrich's electoral prospects have shot up. So it's a tactic that's working for him. The other electoral part of this, of course, is that he is telling his base what Prime Minister Netanyahu himself always does say explicitly, no matter what Israel's international commitments, both of them say there will never be a Palestinian state so long as we're in power. And this again is being used as a sort of reminder of these two politicians who are not doing that well in the polls, saying, vote for us because only we can stave off this international pressure. And behind that, even worse, is an effort to depopulate the West Bank of Palestinians, to make life so difficult there for them that they will want to leave. All of this is wrapped up in an announcement which we have to say is very unlikely to actually move forward in any way in the foreseeable future. The deadline for this tender is not coincidentally set for just 1 week ahead of the October 27th elections. It's very clearly a reminder for voters. And even if, as expected, tenders are presented then and eventually they pass some regulatory process, which could take many, many months after the elections, we don't know what a new government will decide to do or whether or not it will move forward. For now, this is very much a symbolic move.
Noga, just briefly, in regards to the Israeli elections, which are going to be happening in October, what is happening in regards to the settlements in general?
What's happening is that the settlers, the settler movement, and the most extreme parts among them have really gained both currency and power through a number of Netanyahu top ministers who are themselves settlers or who are settler activists. So, what we're seeing in this electoral campaign, which is really remarkable, is to what extent this small minority of very extremist settlers with the most radical far right views, to what an extent these people who do represent a small minority have become the center of the electoral campaign. I want to point out that the minister we now see on the screen, another one of these group, Itamar Ben-Gvir, 2 or 3 days ago called for the wanton killing of 30 to 40 Palestinians at night in Gaza for no reason except to terrorize them and to kill them. The prime minister of Israel, who has the power to fire any of these ministers, to condemn them, or to halt any of these processes, including handing out of arms to violent settlers in the West Bank, the Israeli prime minister is going along for the ride. He is on board with these efforts, and he has not even condemned Itamar Ben-Gvir's call for murder, flat out murder. So we're in a situation in which extremism, radical extremism, has taken over the electoral campaign, and that is causing a lot of fears among the general Israeli population and also among the officials, for example, from the Central Election Committee, who really feel pressure to try and secure these elections in one way or another.
Noga Tarnopolsky reporting there from Jerusalem. Thank you.